Good morning, afternoon. Welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to be looking at Slaves to Darkness for Age of Sigmar 4th edition, the classic big bad. So let's see what Archeon and his boys have got for the new edition. That's right, today's focus is Slaves to Darkness, the big bad. I know Skaven think they're the big bad this edition, but they're really not. The classic Chaos Warriors and Archeon the Ever-Chosen, a really cool army. And yeah, one that pretty much stands out on its own. Really got a nice little update of new models in 3rd edition. New Demon Prince was absolutely awesome. Shame about his rules sucked. The new Chaos Warriors and the new Knights and everything else. Really nice. Very cool army. And yeah, you just are the big bad of the entire setting. Obviously, Archeon the Ever-Chosen, probably one of the coolest models in the entire range. Big ass Chaos Knight riding around on a 3-headed dragon monster. Kind of cool. And pretty impressive painting project if you are wanting one. So let's see what they've got for their battle traits. So they've got the Eye of the Gods. So each friendly Slaves to Darkness unit that destroyed an enemy unit this turn is a target. So any unit, unless it's a beast unit and a non-hero monster unit, can't be a target of this ability. So in 3rd edition they had like an Eye of the Gods, so it was only really affected for certain heroes that had the keyword, and you got to do it on Chosen at the start of the battle. This is now every unit apart from beasts and non-hero monsters. So if your Chaos Warriors kill a unit, you get to roll on this table. So you roll a d6, and on a 1, no effect. On a 2, you get a heal basically 3. On a 3, you gain +1 to hit for the rest of the battle. That's huge. On a 4, if you had a ward save, you get a 5-up ward save. If you didn't have a ward save, you now get a 6-up ward save. So this will stack with obviously things like Mark of Tzeentch. Number 5 is you add 1 to the rend characteristics for the rest of the battle. +1 rend is always good. And if you get a 6, you can pick another effect. These effects are can be applied multiple times. So you can really buff a unit if they start doing really well. Now, there is a caveat that you can re-roll this d6 roll, but if you do so and you roll a 1, you take d3 mortal damage as well. Okay. A lot better than it was in the previous editions. Now, what I mean by the ward save is obviously it says that if the target doesn't have a ward save, okay, you get a 6-up ward save. But if you do have a ward save, you gain a 5-up. Now, Mark of Tzeentch, we'll go into the marks now. Nice segue. Gives the unit a 4-up ward save against mortal damage inflicted by spells and manifestations. So going by raw, you have a ward save. Doesn't matter how you save against it and where the damage comes from. You have a ward save, which means that you would automatically get a 5-up ward save against everything because you already have one. So that's how raw works. I'm sure people in the comments will try to tell me I'm wrong, but hey, that's literally how the rule says. So also, other friendly Slaves of Darkness will obviously get other marks. So you can have an Undivided, which gives you +1 to wound rolls for the unit's combat attacks that target hero and monsters. The Mark of Khorne adds +1 attack characteristics to the unit's melee weapons for the rest of the turn if the unit charged in the same turn. Not bad. Blades of Khorne are going to do better. And then Nurgle, you subtract 1 from wound rolls for combats that target this unit. That is going to be the de facto one that you go with. And Slaanesh, add 1 to run rolls and charge rolls for the units. If a unit has a Mark of Chaos, keyword is replaced. The replacement unit has the same Mark of keyword. So there's probably the big thing that everyone did in 3rd edition was a unit of 20 Chaos Warriors with a special banner and the Mark of Nurgle, basically meaning that you were -1 to wound them, and they ignored rend 1, and they become incredibly tanky. I could see that still being a thing. So, if we still have the banners, we don't know what artifacts or items and things like that the army are going to have. So our battle formations is Ironclad Onslaught. This is probably one of 4. Pick an objective that is contested by a friendly unit to be the target. Place a defile token next to the objective, then roll a d3. For each enemy unit contesting the objective that has a defile token on a 2+, inflict an equal amount of mortal damage on the enemy than the roll. Pretty cool. The Chaos are all about screwing things over, so kind of quite thematic. Then we have the Law of the Damned. So we got Demonic Speed. It is back from 3rd edition. So you pick a friendly Slaves to Darkness wizard to cast the spell. Pick a visible friendly Slaves to Darkness unit wholly within 12 inches for them to be the target, and then make a casting roll of 2d6. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to the number as the dice rolls when making charge rolls to a maximum of 3. So on a 7+, you basically get a 3d6 charge. This is probably going to be used on a nice big block of Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights are pretty spicy this edition. Then we get our first War Scroll, and it's Be'lakor the Dark Master. Now, Be'lakor is a pretty cool model, and he was pretty good in 3rd edition. You often seen him a lot in a lot of Coalesce sort of allies type thing that they could use. So he has a 4-up save, he has a 6-up ward, he flies, he's a wizard 2, he has a 14 move, he has 14 health, and he has control of 10. He has the Blade of Shadow, so he has 8 attacks, which does drop down to 6 if he takes 10 or more damage. And he has hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, 2 rend, 2 damage, crit, auto wounds. So not too shabby in combat. Then he has his claws and his big tail, has 2 attacks, 2s followed by 2s, 2 rend, 2 damage, and he has +1 damage on these attacks when he charges. So he is pretty good in combat. He is the first ever chosen, so you should expect that. He has a passive ability called Shadow Form, so he ignores all modifiers to save rules for this unit, positive and negative. Expect to see this type of rule on people like Eltharion and stuff like that. But that's really good. He's always going to have a 4-up save. Once per turn army in the enemy combat phase, pick this unit and pick up to 2 friendly Slaves to Darkness units within this unit's combat range to be the target. Roll a dice, and on a 4+, they get strike first for the rest of the turn. That is really solid as well. Now, probably the classic ability that Be'lakor has always had is the Dark Master, and it is still here in 4th edition. So you pick a visible enemy unit to be the target. That is literally anywhere on the table. If you can get line of sight to it, you can see him. Effect: until the start of your next turn, each time a target is picked to use an ability, roll a dice as a reaction. On a 3+, that ability has no effect. This is so strong. It's only once per battle, but you can essentially just shut down a massive hero, a massive piece in an enemy army. So, as an example, say you're playing Lumineth and you've got Teclis, you can literally, in turn, whatever you want, pick Teclis, and then anytime Teclis even remotely wants to do anything, you roll a 3+, and they can't use that ability. It's almost like they designed 4th edition with Be'lakor in mind, with the abilities and this ability as well. So, yeah, it is so powerful, and especially used at the right time, can just be an absolute game changer. In your hero phase, you can have a spell where you pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of this unit to be the target, then make a casting roll of 2d6, needing a 6 or more. Until the start of your next turn, subtract 1 from hit rolls for the target's combat attacks. -1 hit is so good. And then the target combat attacks cannot score critical hits, and treat them as regular hits as well. So even turning off any of the weapon abilities as well is really strong. Yeah, Be'lakor is going to be good. And I can see him being taken a lot. Now, let's just hope Archaon absolutely outmatches him when we actually finally get to see him. So the Demon Prince, the humble Demon Prince, got a brand new model in 3rd edition, absolutely amazing kit. Unfortunately, in 3rd edition, his rules were absolute dog shit. It was horrible. Such a shame that it was so promoted so heavily by Games Workshop as such a really cool model, and you got it in the launch box and everything else for the faction. And Demon Princes just sucked so badly in Slaves to Darkness armies. It was so bad. So they have a 6-up ward, they have a 3-up save, they move 8, they have a health of 10, and they control of 5. They have a Hellforged weapons, they have 6 attacks, 3s followed by 3s, 1 rend, 3 damage, and they do mortal damage on 6s to hit. That is really good, and a lot better than it was. So they also have the ability to take a Mark of Chaos, so you can have Undivided, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. And you also have the option of taking Wings or a Trophy Rack. If you take Wings, you gain the Fly keyword and get to move 10 inches rather than 8. You're not really going to take Wings, you're going to take a Trophy Rack. And if this unit has a Trophy Rack, its Hellforged weapon also has Anti-Hero +1 Rend. You're going to take a Trophy Rack. So your hero phase, you've got the Runeous Favour, so pick a friendly non-unique unit, wholly within 12 inches of this unit, and shares a Mark of Chaos keyword with this unit to be the target. Roll a dice. On a 3+, that target can immediately use the Eye of the Gods ability, as if it was the end of the turn and they have destroyed an enemy unit. This is really strong. The ability to actually start manipulating the Eye of the Gods table to buff your units without having to kill a unit is so strong. So, yep, I will definitely say that Demon Princes are way better this edition than they were last edition. That's not exactly hard, but it's good. If I was running a Slaves to Darkness army, I would definitely have a Demon Prince now. I would still expect them to be about 200 points. Trophy Rack is a must. Probably, depending on what I want it to do, if I want it to be a smash thing in the face, probably Mark of Khorne. But if you want it to stay around for a bit longer, definitely throw a Mark of Nurgle on there. And then have it near a nice big block of 20 Chaos Warriors with a Mark of Nurgle, feeding that Eye of the Gods table into them every hero phase. So yeah, pretty good. Quite impressed with Demon Princes. Now we're on to the Chaos Knights. Another heavy cavalry unit for the game. They have a 3-up save, they move 10, they've got a health of 4, pretty impressive. 1 control, and they have the Cursed Lances. They have 3 attacks. They hit on 3s, they wound on 3s, they rend 1, they do 1 damage, and they've got +1 damage on the charge. Again, very jealous that this heavy cavalry unit has 3s followed by 3s, unlike my heavy cavalry unit that has 4s followed by 4s. Very annoying. Their horses are exactly the same profile as every other horse. 2 attacks, 5 followed by 3s, no rend 1 damage in the companion attack. These also get the option of taking a Mark of Chaos, so again, really depends on what you want these guys to do. And then they have Impaling Charge. So if this unit charges this turn, for the rest of the turn, add 1 to the Rend characteristics for its Cursed Lance ability. So on the charge, you're going to be doing Rend 2, 2 damage, and 3 attacks each. Really good. Obviously, you can give them Mark of Khorne to give them an additional attack when they roll in. You could essentially, if you wanted to, roll a Chaos Demon Prince alongside them, giving them the ability to try to fish for that +1 to hit, +1 to wound, or even the additional rend. You know, there is ways that you're going to be able to sort of really sort of buff these, and yeah, they're pretty good. They used to sort of play nicely into the Mounted Lords. So there's the Chaos Lord on the Karnazak and on the Demonic Steed. Allowed, like, if they charged and the knights were wholly within 12, they were able to get strike first. Hopefully there's still sort of that combination going on in the new 4th edition to really sort of make Chaos Knights key. But again, there's no more sort of battle line units now in making your army. I am going to be making a video once we get the core rules on how to create an army for Age of Sigmar 4th edition, so keep an eye out for that. So, but the kind of cool thing is you are going to be able to have a full mounted army in the Chaos Undivided, or sorry, Slaves to Darkness as a whole. So that's kind of cool. Then we got the Dark Oath Marauders. The new Marauders replaced the old classic Marauders because they're going back to the old world. These guys have a 5-up save. They move 5. They've got 1 health. They've got 1 control. They have a really not very good weapon attack. 2 attacks, 4s followed by 3s, -1 rend 1 damage. And they have Oath of the Marauder. So if this unit charged this phase and the unmodified rule was an 8+, add 1 to the rend characteristic of this unit's weapon for the rest of the battle. Kind of cool. Glorious Death. While this unit is wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Dark Oath heroes, each time a model in this unit is slain by a combat attack that the model was in combat with, roll a dice. On a 5+, inflict 1 mortal damage onto the unit that did the fight ability. That's kind of cool. Now, with the new Dark Oath range, we have new heroes, new models, new units. You can essentially run an entire Dark Oath army now in Slaves to Darkness, which is really good to see. They are really kind of cool. They're like little mini Vikings. So yeah, they do come with the Undivided keyword, so you're not going to get the option to start marking them up with Khorne and things like that. But having a nice thematic Dark Oath army with maybe one big unit of Chosen or Chaos Warriors would be really thematic and would be kind of cool. But yeah, quite impressed with them. I'm hopefully they are going to be dirt cheap. If they are dirt cheap, then expect to see a lot of spam. So we go into the studio and look at this, what the studio have got. Obviously, the Spearhead box is 10 Chaos Warriors, a Chaos Lord on foot, and 5 Knights and a Chariot. It's pretty decent. At least 3 of these boxes will get you a solid 2,000 point army. I know my previous Slaves to Darkness army in 3rd edition was pretty much made of 2 of these and then some additional units added onto it. So yeah, it's quite an easy army to get into. So I'm not really going to go into the Spearhead rules too much. We'll have a little look at the Chaos and Warriors. I'm expecting that unit profile to pretty much stay the same. 2 attacks hitting 3s, wounding on 3s, -1 Ren 1 damage, and having a 3-up save. I'd expect that they've probably got a few more keywords when it comes to the larger, more normal game of Age of Sigmar. So tomorrow we're going to see the big muscle brutes of the Iron Jaws. Really looking forward to tomorrow. And yeah, that's going to be a really good one. Let's see what the big yellow crazy orcs are going to do. But that is Slaves to Darkness. All in all, pretty impressed with them. Nice to see that Demon Princes are now actually good. Bellicor's still going to be really, really good. And I think you're going to be able to make a really interesting Slaves to Darkness army. You can really lean into that and really pump those Eye of the Gods rules into units of your choice and really get some absolute disgustingly powerful units. Even like a couple of decent rolls on a unit of Chaos Knights is going to be like hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s with lots of additional rend. So yeah, pretty scary. So quite impressed with that. So yep, that's it. So tomorrow we're going to get the Iron Jaws, and then we're probably only going to have Sylvaneth and Blades of Corn, and there is definitely one other faction. We've got 3 more. No, we haven't, because tomorrow's Wednesday. So yeah, we're going to have Sylvaneth at some point, either for Thursday or Friday, and then we're going to be having Blades of Corn Thursday or Friday. And then hopefully next week, with the pre-orders coming that weekend, we will have all of the core rules and the faction packs, and then I will start rolling out the big faction pack look-ins, deep dives for certain factions. So remember, if there's a faction that you want me to look at, you can let me know in the comment section below, and I will add that to the list. So I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Thank you very much. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and check out my members area as well. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.